Imagine all the men coming in them kilt. Hi everybody. So today we're checking out 7 British holidays I've never celebrated before moving to the UK. Getting this one from Girl Gone London. Link in the description below. Go over and show her some love. All right, baby. Welcome one and all. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Let's get into this video. Here we go right about now.
As a dual UK and US citizen, I'm here to tell you some interesting British holidays that we don't celebrate in the USA.
Okay.
Number 1, Bonfire Night, or Guy Fawkes Night, celebrated every November 5th, commemorates one of history's most spectacular failures. Back in 1605, Guy Fawkes and his Catholic friends tried to blow up Parliament and King James I in what we now call the Gunpowder Plot. Their plan failed when Fawkes was caught red-handed in the cellars beneath the House of Lords with enough gunpowder to level half of Westminster. Now, over 400 years later, the Brits celebrate this failure in the UK by essentially recreating the explosion that never happened. The irony isn't lost on anyone. They're celebrating the preservation of democracy by creating controlled explosions that pretty much replicates what the plotters intended to achieve. It's wonderfully British irony and logic. Now, the evening itself goes a little like this. British villages and communities are transformed into something resembling like a medieval festival. Community bonfires reach really impressive heights, carefully constructed over weeks by very dedicated volunteers who take their engineering responsibilities very seriously. Also, it's typically a lot of people who like to blow stuff up. The closest thing America has is July 4th when we do fireworks for Independence Day, but it's obviously not the same. Next up is Boxing.
Isn't that something? If that has ever happened in the US, ain't nobody celebrating. Nobody has ever almost blown up Parliament. See, that's why they come out to the UK, they come out to dark humor and all of this stuff. And what you guys laugh at your own expense, and it's a part of your history. And you say, listen, we're not Xing it out. We're going to celebrate every November the 5th, which is today. Listen, that's what's up. And guess what? I've heard you guys talk about that gunpowder plot day in, day out. But it's a celebration. Let's move on to the next one. We don't have anything like that here in the US, that's for sure.
Is Boxing Day. While Americans are typically going back to work on December 26th, Brits are still fully in the Christmas period. Boxing Day, December 26th, is a full public holiday that extends Christmas into a real 2-day celebration rather than treating it as a one overwhelming, exhausting. The tradition actually goes back to Victorian times when wealthy families would give boxes of gifts, money, and leftover food to their servants and tradespeople on the day after Christmas. These servants had worked on Christmas Day to make sure their employers' celebrations ran smoothly. So Boxing Day was finally their turn to get a day off and some recognition. So we all take both days off. There's also the tradition of giving to the poor through churches, making it a day dedicated to charity and gratitude. Modern Boxing Day has kind of evolved, so it's become something that combines sports, family time, shopping, and recovery from Christmas excess all in one day. Football matches typically dominate the afternoon. Their Premier League typically schedules a full fixture list, creating the phenomenon where families abandon Christmas leftovers to crowd into stadiums or cluster around televisions and pubs. Then there are the family walks, which for some people are just an excuse to temporarily escape the relatives who stayed after the house and to walk off Christmas dinner. Country pubs on Boxing Day experience one of their busiest days of the year. Now, Americans who typically return to work between Christmas and New Year's with only Christmas Day off find the concept of a guaranteed second day off very enviable. Next up,
so I'm familiar with Boxing Day. When I moved here to the US and I saw Christmas Day, I'm like, oh, tomorrow's Boxing Day. People were like, what are you talking about? I say, Boxing Day, day after Christmas, another holiday? They're looking at me like I'm mad. I'm like, you guys don't celebrate Boxing Day? They're like, we don't know what. Hey, we do not know what you're talking about. That's when I realized America don't do Boxing Day. I love the idea of Boxing Day, to unwind the day after Christmas Day. Whether I'm celebrating Christmas here or there, is either here nor there. I love that time off. Period. Time. Like, you get to relax and hang out with family and just have a blast. Like she said, go to sporting event, go to a dance, go to a this. I want to have that pub experience and Boxing Day. I can imagine them busiest day. Listen, family member who you don't want to be around staying too overstaying them time. You know what? Get out the house. Yeah, I love that idea. Yeah, I think a lot of countries need to get on board with that day as well.
Up is Pancake Day, which is seriously British. Pancake Day, officially known as Shrove Tuesday, takes the American concept of Fat Tuesday and transforms it into something wonderfully unique. While New Orleans celebrates with elaborate parades and beads and public revelry, Britain celebrates with pancakes. But not just any pancakes. We're talking like crepe-like pancakes served with lemon juice and sugar, not American fluffy pancakes. The religious part goes back centuries, so people needed to use up rich ingredients like eggs, milk, and sugar before Lent began on Ash Wednesday. Medieval Christians had to give up all meat and dairy products during Lent, so Shrove Tuesday was kind of the last hurrah for a proper indulgence before 40 days of religious restraint. The word shrove comes from shrive, meaning to confess sins and receive absolution. So it was both culinary and a spiritual preparation rolled into one. And as I mentioned, British pancakes are completely different from American pancakes. They're thin, delicate creations that actually require a lot of skill to make. I'm not sure I've made them successfully yet. The batter is very simple, just flour, eggs, and milk, but they're cooked in a really thin layer. And again, they're not served with syrup, they're served with lemon juice and sugar. Now, Americans celebrating Fat Tuesday focus mainly on the party aspect. It's all about the final blowout before Lent. There are no pancakes involved. Mardi Gras does involve elaborate costumes and massive public celebrations and lots of beads, but British Pancake Day is more about community and family tradition.
Hold up. I had no clue that you had a thing called Pancake Day. This is my first time hearing that. And I didn't even realize that your pancake is different from an American pancake. Because when I hear pancake, think of that fluffy, powder mix, pancake mix that you mix up and pour it and put butter in your pan and flip some pancake. Yours is not that. Interesting. And I see how thin it is. And she said, lemon juice you guys put on your... I'd like to try it. Lemon juice. I'm thinking lemon juice. I'm thinking a little bit of salt in lemon. That's my mouth is one. My brain is kind of going left, but I'm like, but I didn't even realize they have a thing called Fat Tuesday here in the US either. You see, when you're just out of touch and don't know certain things, there you go. I'm like, what a day, Fat Tuesday. Listen, man, embrace it, because, yeah, including myself, you have some pounds. That's an interesting one. But okay. That's an interesting one. Let's leave it at that.
Number 4 on my list is Burns Night in Scotland. Every January 25th, Burns Night celebrates Scotland's national poet Robert Burns with some formal and traditional celebrations. Robert Burns lived from 1759 to 1796 and was a Scottish poet whose work captured the voice, spirit, and struggles of ordinary people during the Scottish Enlightenment. His poems and songs, which are written in Scots dialect, celebrated love and friendship and Scottish identity, while also having a real go at social inequality and religious hypocrisy. The Burns Supper follows a precise order of events that hasn't changed much in over 2 centuries. The evening starts with guests arriving in formal dress, men often wear kilts, then bagpipes announce the arrival later on of the haggis, which is the ceremonial centerpiece of the whole meal. It's carried in with great pomp and circumstance, while a bagpiper leads a procession around the dining room. Then comes the address to a haggis, which is the evening's dramatic centerpiece. Burns's famous poem gets recreated with proper flair while the speaker dramatically gestures towards the haggis with a knife. It is eventually cut, and the evening includes multiple toasts and speeches, usually following traditional formats that haven't changed in generations. There's the Immortal Memory, which offers a serious tribute to Burns's life, work, and continuing relevance. Then the Toast to the Lassies lets a male speaker offer witty commentary on women, followed by the reply from the lassies, where a female speaker responds with equally sharp wit and usually gets the better of the exchange. There can be additional toasts to absent friends, to Scotland, and to the haggis itself. Americans really don't have anything equivalent to Burns Night. Next on my list is...
Burns Night is something I'd definitely like to experience. It sounds amazing. Can you imagine all the men coming in them kilt? I'm playing the bagpipe, the haggis coming in. Haggis. Not going to spoil it. Leave it alone there. Huggish. Yes, that word. Coming in, I know what it is though, in Scotland, and the lassies having them toast, giving a toast, dress formal. Listen, I can see it. It sounds awesome. It really does. Burns night. No, America does not have anything like that at all.
Is Mothering Sunday. Mothering Sunday, celebrated on the fourth Sunday in Lent, usually sometime in mid-March, is Britain's original Mother's Day celebration. Oh. It's on a different day from American Mother's Day, which always happens in May. The whole thing dates back to the 16th century and stems from the Christian practice of visiting your mother church. That's the main church in the area in which you were baptized. During Lent, Christians were expected to return to their mother church for a special service, creating this homecoming tradition that reunited families and communities. Now, modern Mothering Sunday has evolved quite a bit while keeping some of the traditional elements. British children give their mothers handmade cards, often created during school art lessons. The cards can feature pressed flowers or simple poems and drawings by the kids. And church services maintain stronger connections to Mothering Sunday's religious origins than American Mother's Day celebrations do. Many British churches hold special services that honor both biological mothers and the concept of the mother church, creating kind of a dual celebration that does acknowledge both spiritual and personal maternal figures. Now, the timing difference creates all sorts of confusion for international families and businesses because American Mother's Day, which is celebrated on the second Sunday in May, was established in 1914 by President Woodrow Wilson and has nothing to do with religion or Mothering Sunday. Next up is St. George's Day.
First time hearing about that one, Mothering Sunday. And I didn't realize you guys don't do Mother's Day the way the US does Mother's Day. That's a new one to me. So it's a religious and Mother Day celebration in a sense for you guys in the UK. Ushering your home church, your church where you're baptized in. And then, the day proceeds with kids giving their mother their cards that they made personally. Okay, Mothering Sunday. Interesting. Okay, I hear you.
St. George's Day is on April 23rd, and this is England's national day.
Oh!
It's celebrated with such characteristically English restraint sometimes that you might not even know what's happening. Here's the thing about St. George himself. He's a fascinating paradox for English national identity because the patron saint of England was actually a Roman soldier who lived in the 3rd century AD and almost certainly never set foot in England. The dragon-slaying legend developed centuries after his death, transforming a Christian martyr into a mythical hero who rescued a princess and saved a kingdom from a terrible beast. The adoption of St. George as England's patron saint happened during the medieval period, particularly after the Crusades, when English knights brought back tales of the saint's miraculous interventions in battle. King Edward III made St. George the patron saint of the Order of the Garter in 1348, cementing his role in English royal and national identity. The Red Cross of St. George became England's flag, later incorporated into the Union Jack. Pub participation represents the most common form of celebration, so many pubs will fly the St. George's flag and offer even more traditional English foods like roast beef, fish and chips, full English breakfasts, bangers and mash, whatever it is. Real ale consumption does increase noticeably on St. George's Day, as does the playing of traditional English folk music. School celebrations might involve children learning about English history, literature, and tradition. William Shakespeare actually died on April 23rd, which is the same day as St. George's Day, and so there's often connections in schools between England's patron saint and learning about its greatest writer. Now, last on my list, but certainly not...
Okay, so it's not on St. George's Day, it's not just eating food and carrying on. The kids also learn something in the process too. Look at that, and the pubs. Them ales be rolling out, baby. I can only imagine them ales going through listening to folk songs or singing folk songs and eating your bangers and mash, your fish and chips, we can't call it Sunday roast, your roast. I can see it. England's holiday. I didn't even know that. I didn't know that one either, but it sounds awesome.
But certainly not least is the August bank holiday, falling on the last Monday in August and serving as Britain's unofficial end of summer celebration. The origins trace back to the Bank Holidays Act of 1871, when Sir John Lubbock created official public holidays for bank employees and, by extension, much of the working population. The August holiday was originally set for the first Monday of the month, but it got moved to the last Monday in 1971 to extend the summer holiday season and give families one final opportunity for summer activities before the school term begins. Seaside destinations in the UK experience one of their busiest days of the year as millions descend upon places like Brighton, Blackpool, Bournemouth, and countless other smaller coastal towns. Beach activities go ahead regardless of the weather. You can't bank on the weather on an August bank holiday. You go ahead regardless. Children, build your sandcastles while wearing your coats. The parents are huddling under like golf umbrellas. It doesn't matter. Weather in the UK, whatever. Keep calm and carry on. Now, traffic chaos has also become as traditional as the holiday itself. Journey times that normally take maybe 2 hours can stretch to 6 or 7, creating legendary traffic jams that basically have their own folklore. Bank holiday traffic is a thing unto itself. Now, America has kind of an equivalent. It's Labor Day weekend, which also kind of marks our kind of end of summer. We'll have barbecues, pool parties, and outdoor activities as well. But we don't have something called a bank holiday, as I've talked about in other videos. The term bank holiday doesn't exist in the US. There's nothing like a bank holiday, which is essentially just a day off for the sake of having the day off. That brings me to the end of this video. I hope you learned something new. Leave your comments down below. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Bye, Mama. Yeah, we don't have nothing called bank holiday here to end the summer off. No way, no how. We definitely don't have that. But to come to think about any day to get an extra day off work, anybody who is willing to take that. I, for one, would definitely take it. Interesting. Really enjoyed this video. Like I said, never heard of bank holiday before. Never heard of Pancake Day. Never heard of which other one? Mothering Sunday. Never heard of the Scotland one. There are a few of them that I've never heard before. I'm sitting here, I'm like, which other one is there that I didn't hear? Pretty much. Majority of them I've never heard before. So that's, to me, is really interesting. I like the idea of it though. You know? Which one was it? I know about the Guy Fawkes Day. That one I know. Which was the other one that I've heard of before? I think only 2 of them on the list that I know about. No more. Anyway, very interesting video. But yeah, I want to go in at the pub, go drink ale too. I eat fish and chips and eat roast and yeah, baby, I'm on board. I want to go to Scotland and watch them in the Celt and doing the bagpipe. I'm on board with everything. Love you guys to the max, and I'll definitely catch you guys in another video. Let me know your thoughts. Yeah, like she said, Labor Day is the last one here in the US. Yes, so we're doing hot barbecue and stuff. But apart from that, there's nothing really when I think about it. None of those holidays. Man, any day to get a holiday, why not? Ride it out. Be good, be kind, be safe out there. Love you guys to the max, and I'll definitely catch you guys in another video. Don't forget to give this one a big thumbs up and tell me what you'd like me to check out next. Your girl got you. Love you guys. Bye.